Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to another special edition of your ultimate business program on television. This is Business This Week, reaching you live from the ITV network. From Benin, my name is Daniel Praise Osedebame. Well, today we are going to be exploring Nigeria at 64, and we are going to be exploring the strategies for sustainable development in the oil and gas sector. Now, since independence, we've been battling with this sector. Now, as Nigeria celebrates its 64th independence, the oil and gas sector remains a cornerstone of the nation's economy. Now, despite its vast resources and decades-long experience as an oil-producing nation, the sector faces significant challenges such as fluctuating global oil prices, environmental concerns, and the urgent need for economic diversification. Now, the quest for a sustainable development in this industry is very critical than ever. Now, well, how can Nigeria revitalize its oil and gas sector? Maybe it's a question you're asking yourself, because every right-thinking Nigerian at this point is asking that question to ensure that we have a long-term benefit for our economy and the citizen to benefit from. Now, what role will local content, technological innovation, and cleaner energy alternatives, what role would they be playing in transforming the oil and gas sector? Now, today on the edition of the Business This Week, we are going to be diving into the pressing issues, and we have some distinguished guests who will be helping us to make sense of it. Now, they bring their individual expertise in engineering, economics, and business development to help us explore actionable solutions to driving a sustainable growth in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. Now, let's meet our guests quickly. We have engineer Dr. Kenua Obaseki. He's a senior engineering analyst at the International Global Engineering Consulting and he's renowned for providing cutting-edge solutions to complex engineering challenges worldwide. Dr. Obaseki combines his extensive experience in technical expertise with strategic business insight. As an entrepreneur and agricultural expert, he's also a business coach. He's also a philanthropist, if you want to add to that. He's also a mentor to upcoming engineers and business professionals, fostering the next generation of industry leaders. His holistic understanding of both the technical and commercial phases of engineering and position him as a valuable voice in lending his voice to this discussion. He joins virtually from Michigan, United States. Thank you so much, Dr. Obaseki, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we also have joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. He's in person of Dr. Boniface Chizia. He's a highly respected economic and a business development consultant with a distinguished career spanning both public and private sectors. Now, he has made significant contributions to organizations such as the Central Bank of Nigeria's Quality Assurance FSS 2020 project, the Federal Ministry of Finance, and the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. He has so many experiences in economy, policy, financial sector development, and business strategy. Mr. Chigeze is a key contributor to national dialogues on enhancing Nigeria's oil and gas sector for long-term prosperity, and he joins from Lagos, Nigeria, like I told you. Thank you so much, Dr. Boniface, for coming.
Okay, thank you very much for having me.
We appreciate you. So let's quickly get to Dr. Obaseki. Dr. Obaseki, reflecting on the 64th independence of our nation, what are the most pressing challenges currently facing Nigeria's oil and gas sector? Dr. Obaseki.
You know, at 64, this is the time we should be reflecting on where we are and what has been happening. You know, I was just watching your TV, and Femi Falana is requesting for the federal government to find out what happened to $2.9 billion to repair the Warri and the Kaduna refinery. Maybe you can still see it.
It's on the scroll.
Yes, they are very, very painful. You know, last night I sent you series of the things I am doing here in Michigan, and these are Greek. Actually, growing yellow yam in my backyard right here.
In
If you do,
US.
yes, U.S. Michigan is a cold region, state. I am racing against time so that to allow time for harvest. I don't see any reason why Nigeria should be where we are right now. It's like when I think about Nigeria, it's like the wade in the water. John 5, I think, verse 5, that says, wade in the waters, wade in the water, children, wade in the waters. God is gonna trouble the water. And if you reverse that, Nigeria wade in the waters, wade in the water, Nigeria wade in the water. God has been troubling the water.
So which water are we talking about now, Dr. Obaseki? Is it the water in the oil and gas sector?
Exactly. Nigeria in general. See, we should not be where we are right now. So many countries are moving on. This discussion we are having right now, we've been having it since day one when the British left us. And we are still having this discussion. I just pointed out to you that 2.9 billion, that's a lot of money. The oil industry should not be suffering what they are suffering now. But we are suffering, and I believe we will still continue to suffer.
Okay.
You see, Nigerians, we are good at coming up with policy, PIA, this, that, you know. The implementation has been a big challenge. And even Tinubu, who is the current president, was with us when we were all fighting to oust Abacha. I met him at Chief Nauros of blessed memory. I met him there. All of them coming. You see, just wishing to become the president of Nigeria is not enough.
Okay.
You have to have what you want to do to turn Nigeria around. And we have not seen that. You might be surprised, in my own opinion, next year is probably going to be worse than this year.
Okay.
It's been like that. When I saw Chief now 2010, before his death, it was one of lamentation. He knew I worshipped him because we need to change Nigeria.
All right, Dr. Obaseki, let's quickly get to, you've landed on your thoughts. Let's get to Dr. Boniface and get his view. All right, Dr. Boniface, it seems this current administration is still battling or weighing in the water like Dr. Kenowa talked about. This government is barely 2 years in office, and they're talking about shaking the cabinet again. It seems they're not getting it right. So what reforms do you think are essential in the oil and gas industry to achieve a long-term sustainable economic growth for Nigeria at this time? We are not hearing you. If you can hear us, probably you check your connection again, Dr. Boniface. Well, kindly do well to check your sound. We are not really getting you from this side. We just hope we get our hands on it and bring you on board. But Dr. Kenowa, if you're there, help us out. This administration is still battling to fix things. Okay, do we have Dr. Boniface now?
Yeah, well, you can hear me. I just
go ahead.
So you can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, I was just saying that what's happening in the oil industry is a reflection of what has happened in the country at large. So all the problems we have in Nigeria, you can find them in the oil industry. So start from corruption, from lack of transparency, and nobody knows what goes on. Even from the person that knows the organization that manages the oil industry, NNPC, there's so much opaqueness. And yet, this is a country, Nigeria is a country that is endowed. God has blessed us with, oil resources. But then we've not been able to optimize it. So you look at the refineries. How many refineries do we have? How many have been working? They've not worked for such a long time. And so when you talk about corruption in Nigeria, it's defined, it's written large in the oil industry. Dangote just told us that in fact the mafia in the importation of refined products, it's even worse than the mafia you have in the drug business. So I think the oil industry is unfortunate, and that's why we talk of a Dutch disease. So you have oil that should be a blessing to you, but then in our case, it's not a blessing. It killed most of the things we did earlier, but gave us some respite, that gave us progress. We lost productivity. Everybody now concentrated on this oil, this oil resource. And the resource control, all the malpractices, the unfairness, the inequity, you find them in the oil industry. So you go to the Niger Delta, you extract the oil, and then you take it to the center, and then you share it. And so it kills motivation. So when we're talking of restructuring this economy, one of the things we needed to do is to revisit quickly, resource allocation. So you should earn the money, earn it from your backyard, and then you use it and pay, like it happened, when we got independence. So you earn the money and you pay tax to the center for common services. But when you earn the money from the backyard of some people and then you take it to a center to be shared, even to those who have not contributed anything, it's not right for this country.
It's not right.
Okay, let's talk about the legislators now. Are they really doing anything to ensure they regulate this industry? Dr. Kenu Obaseki, though they are doing their best, we have committees who are in charge of the sector. But do you think they are doing enough to protect the oil and gas sector in the country, Dr. Obaseki?
I am happy you are aware that the people who ought to be regulated, they don't even know what they are doing. You see, the highest organ of any country is the legislator, the legislative branch. Do they believe that Nigeria has a problem? That is the first question we need to ask them. Are they regulating? Hell no, they are not. Otherwise, what is happening now shouldn't be happening. Do you know that the legislator can come, they can sit together and tell and remove the president tonight, and it will happen? That's their function. They can also sit down and remove the entire judiciary. That's their function, assuming they believe that Nigeria has a problem. But they don't believe that Nigeria has a problem. See, when you are wallowing, Benin people, we have a saying, we go Zoe. When you have too much money, you just go crazy. You don't even know what you are doing anymore. Okay. I think that's what's happening with our legislative branch. They are not doing their job. With all this corruption, even they themselves, they are corrupt. Probably, let's put it that way. When you are corrupt, there's no way you can solve corruption. My prayer now is that the new Chief Justice of Nigeria will sit down, reflect that our judiciary, is discredited, has no credibility, and then bring the judiciary back in line. The reason why America works is because people are afraid to go to jail. I beg you, it's not here, So you are very, very careful. You do your job. You take what belongs to you and leave what doesn't belong to you behind. Otherwise, you go to jail. But in Nigeria, there is no consequences. You see, it's like what the Bible says in Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto you that call evil good and good evil. That is what is happening in Nigeria. People are emboldened. The oil industry is not working. 4 refineries. If I were to be Tinubu, nobody is going to repair the refinery. I will repair the refinery by myself. Assuming you want to establish a legacy for yourself.
Okay. We're actually going
Refineries
towards
are
the...
working all over the world. Why is our refinery not working?
Okay, we're actually going there. We are going to talk about the refineries that are not working, and the only private refinery we have in the nation. It seems the man has not really getting a clear cut of how he's going to operate. NNPC is pushing him on one side, and those who are not really happy with the progress are pushing him on the other side. But we'll talk about Dangote's refinery.
I disagree. You are
Okay,
the
we,
commander-in-chief.
we'll talk about that, Dr. Obaseki. Let's just take it slowly and get to Dr. Boniface. Dr. Boniface, if you listen
Yes.
to what Dr. Obaseki said in his opening, he said he's actually growing
Yes.
yam in his backyard. He lives in the United States, and it's a very cold area where I have the videos. He actually sent them yesterday, and this yam are looking very fine. I think maybe I'll be visiting Dr. Obaseki. Let's have some red pounded yam.
Come on down. Come on down.
Why not?
Let's have red pounded yam with some vegetable soup. But in what ways can strengthening local content contribute to the growth and development of our oil and gas sector? Dr. Boniface.
Well, I think that when you talk of local content, we're talking of productivity within the nation. One of the problems we have when we talk of foreign exchange and so on and so forth, the problem we have is that we're not productive. So if you're not productive, so you can't earn dollars, and so you're spending money that you cannot earn. And so we'll be talking about the fact that we need to be productive. And then when we have these issues, we had issues in the economy, and this government came on board, and they said we're taking tough decisions. Those were wrong-headed decisions that were taken. They were inflicting pain on people. So if you have issues, you have an economy, you have the exchange rate, and you are tinkering with it. And what you are doing is it's not going to solve. It's not going to bring us solution. If you want to solve the thing, what they should have done initially, you have subsidy. Why do you want to remove subsidy? You wait, for instance, and then you get Dangote refinery operating. We concentrate. Look at that. Okay, you say you get to that subsequently, but you get Dangote refinery, and look at all the politicization. Look at all the confusion that went with it. All the expectations we had for Dangote refinery, we've not got anywhere near it. So everybody thought that was our low-hanging fruit. Now Dangote refinery will come on board. The first place, it will stop. It will end the money we spend for hard foreign exchange we spend in importing crude. It will stop the corruption in that space. But then up to this point in time, we are still playing games. Everybody's going to do this. That's what we should have done. We should, for instance, have targeted banditry. Look at food inflation. Why do you have food inflation in the economy? You have food inflation in the economy because that's the food supply chain has been affected. Banditry. So all those that should be in the farm, they're all in displaced people's camp. So how are you going to do it? So you tackle that. Those are the issues. You concentrate resources. Even if we now with the humble pie, and even if we have to ask people to come from overseas to help us, without the problems we needed to solve. We talk of local content. Local content, we have crude. So God has blessed us with it. So that's local content. The thing we don't have in terms of local content is that we are not doing what we're supposed to do. We're not producing this crude. We're exporting it. And of course, as we all know, the crude itself has lots of derivatives, which we are not getting. So we export the crude, and they just refine the thing, and they bring it in. We bring it in, and then we say we have subsidies and so on and so forth because then we undercover the cost with which we used to import that, and we have crisis everywhere. And so you're having that. You don't have the foreign exchange to support what your people need. Then you have issues, and you are trying to exchange rate just drop from about 400 and something to naira to $1 to almost 1,500. So how do you run an economy like that? So lack of productivity, lack of local content, corruption, those are the challenges this country will have to face.
Okay, Dr. Obaseki, the world is actually shifting towards cleaner energy. And recently you shared some clip with me on electric car. You own one. I've seen you, you shared a video with me on that. The world is already moving, but we are still battling with fuel. Are we really growing after 64 years of independence?
We are not. We are not. We are not. I pray we do realize that we are moving backward. I worked in the auto industry and I retired from the auto industry. I tell you, in 15 years, this gasoline or what you call PMS is going to be obsolete, and I pray that Dangote recovers its money before that, within 15 years, get the $90 billion dollars. But right now, the source of energy we have is still this PMS, crude oil, refining them. So we can still utilize what we have in the next 15 years and then anticipate when that crude oil will become obsolete, like coal, Enugu coal. Nobody talks of Enugu coal anymore now, So we have to be prepared. The electric car I sent, no, not electric car, solar car.
Solar car.
It's not even electric car. This is ahead. I'm still working on it. A lot of us are working on it. You saw it was moving, and although I tested it in a suburb out of Detroit, but it's eventually going to come. It's eventually going to come. But meanwhile, first thing first, I sent you a series of the video, especially on Greek. I sent it to you. There is no reason why we cannot feed ourselves for crying out loud. If let me ask you a question. What I sent you, do you believe that I can produce a billion tubers of yam? If God already blessed four tubers of yam that I use in the experiment, what if I just replicate them?
To have the proper land and all that.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's quickly get to Dr. Boniface. Dr. Boniface, let's get to Dangote now. We have the crude and everything God has blessed us with. And yet, all the refineries in the country are shut down, and millions of nairas, billions of nairas are used every month to run the place without production. And the only person who felt he could take the bull by the horn and start up something to redeem the image of the nation is still battling for survival. Who are we going to blame? Where are we missing it, Dr. Boniface?
That whom we are going to blame is obvious. Those who have made a killing from importing refined petroleum products. What has come to light is that you have conflicts of interest. So we have a refining plant somewhere in Malta, which is owned by Nigerians. And so people have invested heavily, and these are very powerful people. And so it's very difficult to shift them. If it's not somebody of the caliber of Dangote, in fact, we should pray for him, pray for his life. But the sort of mafia you have there is becoming very clear why the refineries have not worked. So you have powerful interests, whose interest will be affected. They prioritize their interest before the interest of this country, which is too bad. So you come to governance and you see the country is deteriorating before our eyes. People like Nigerians are going all over the world. They are suffering everywhere. They're being maltreated, and nobody shows any concern. They're just concerned about your pocket. How much money are you going to take when you die? When you die, even the property you leave, how far is it going to last? Why can't you think of living in a better place? Think about the future of your country. We're not doing that. It's unfortunate. You have the politicians, you have criminal hijack everywhere. The legislature you have in the states, you have National Assembly, they vote there in the pocket of the head of government. The one in the federal government is the pocket of the president, states there in the pocket. So they're just rubber stamp entities. They're not doing anything. And so their responsibility to perform the responsibility of checks and balances, they're not able to do it because they're compromised.
Okay.
Let's compromise.
Land on your thought, please. Land on your thought before we get to Dr. Obasa.
Yes. And also, I think that we better wake up in this country. Look at what's happening with the elections. What's happening with the elections? We have to start with cleaning up the elections so that we can put people in power that will be accountable to the people. Now, what's clear to us today? You have an INEC that is in the pocket of those who have put them there. I have a friend, Sam Amadi, that says we have to get back. Let's revisit. It's very important. To an INEC president, to recruit him, we advertise overseas, everywhere. People will apply, and we put a body together to select people. So it's done competitively. And then the shortlist is sent to the Council of State, not to the president.
Okay.
Because once the president appoints the INEC chairman, it's beholden to him. And so you do that, and you remove. The person can come. You bring somebody who has a name, who has a reputation to protect, because he has come. He's come on merit.
Okay.
Now, if we don't, unless we do that, we are going to continue to languish the way we're doing now.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Obaseki. Some stakeholders in the oil and gas sector, they are saying, let's allow modular refineries to thrive. To an extent, the military destroyed so many, they actually locked down so many modular refineries. And back then, with the modular refineries, they serve as a backup. We've never gotten to this level as we are now. Do you think it's wise if we allow modular refineries to continue to run as a kind of support and backup?
That's a good suggestion. In fact, Edo State government, I recall, they have 2 modular refineries, right? So you provide more of those modular refineries. Say like what Mahatma Gandhi said, the small is beautiful. It doesn't have to be gigantic. That can be provided to alleviate the suffering of the masses. Yes, I continue to pray for Dangote. See, if Dangote fails, the Nigeria will fall like the Humpty Dumpty that fell and they just had a great fall, because Dangote is our only hope right now. As I said before, I continue to blame the president for all the woes we have. You are the commander-in-chief. We're talking of mafia. If you identify them, you can block them. You can even lock them up. You can put people in place to implement what you want. But he's not doing that. So, and we will continue to work with. You see, criminals, they try because they believe they can get away with it. But then the Nigerian constitution is also flawed. Do you know that in a good constitution, the masses, they can remove their legislators if they are not doing their job?
Yeah.
As I said before, the legislators, if they want to remove the president tonight, he will be gone, assuming they believe that Nigeria has a problem. That is the way American government is even structured. And we are following the American system of government. You see, when we continue to say, oh, we want honest people, it has nothing to do with honesty. It has something to do with the law, the structure. They can remove you. If the Republican had gotten the majority, in spite of what Obama was doing, they can just come to third. The House, they will impeach, and then the Senate, they will convict. That's it. If I were living Benin City and I called on you, say, Mr. Sadeba, please help me wash this business house, and then something goes wrong there, you will be responsible.
Definitely.
Because that's the board of trustees. The legislative arm of the government, they are the board of trustees. And Nigeria is failing, and they have no answer for Nigeria. You see, a lot of the corruption going on, they are going on because they can get away with it.
Okay. All right, let's get to Dr. Boniface. Dr. Boniface, this question is crucial to you because you are a key player in it. How can Nigeria address environmental concerns like pollution and oil spills while maintaining or increasing production levels in the oil and gas industry?
Well, I think that the issue of environmental pollution and so on and so forth has been there with us for a long time, and then nothing has been happening. So those who have been fighting this from the Delta area, some prominent names have been fighting it, and even Ken Saro-Wiwa and co, they fought this thing. And I know, and some have lost their lives in the process because there's no justice, there's no equity in what is happening. So you present the thing, and then people flare gas all over the place, and it affects the health of the population. Next adjacent or those that live within the place, and then you don't go out of your way to do anything meaningful. Instead of injecting the gas that's coming out, I have somebody that says, in fact, Nigeria is a gas territory that has petroleum. We produce more gas, but we fail to utilize it. No, fail to utilize it. So we ask people to pay penalty for clearing the gas, and the penalty is not punitive, so they pay the penalty, and people are having health problems everywhere. And so environmental issues has always been there. So today, the Niger Delta, you see swamps. It's not just gas production, so oil pollution is almost everywhere. You see them, they catch illegal, those who prospect for oil illegally and go places, it's plugged up with oil. The movement, even the aquatic life, it's no more there. So the people are suffering. So it has been there with us. But, as a nation, we are not responsible. Nothing with this environment is organized. And that's the problem. And so to the extent that we're not disciplined, so we're not doing we don't have discipline to do whatever we want to do. Everything in Nigeria is, what is in it for me? That's a terrible thing to happen to any nation. So nobody goes there and wants to do anything. You put any control, nobody monitors. Once somebody is there to benefit from it, it looks the other way. So I think it's a big challenge. I don't know what we are going to do about it.
Okay.
And so that's why people are talking. You have climate change everywhere. We have flooding everywhere.
Okay.
Go on. You want to come in?
Yes, I had wanted to interject a little, but are you done with your line of thought, please?
Yes, to some extent. I think that pollution is there, and like my colleague here did say, so fossil fuel is almost it's getting almost extinct. So we're not talking of using gas, natural gas, and so on and so forth. People are talking about that, but then we are in trouble. So Dangote is putting up his refinery. He spent $19 billion to put up refinery. And I'm going to tell him that, oil, so better, even if the oil is going to go out of using them, there are the byproducts we must use. So we have petrochemicals, we have things for clean road and so on. And so we expect that that might be the way forward. So we look at the things properly. And you see, we don't have discipline. We don't have discipline. We don't study anything. We don't, we just muddle through. That's nobody has any vision. So you bring somebody to power, it doesn't come and say, look, when I live here, I want to leave some legacy. They don't think about legacy. They just think about their pockets. What are they doing with all this money?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, talking about legacy, Dr. Obaseki, I know you are itching to respond. But from the time of President Muhammadu Buhari, he was the Minister of Petroleum. And, of course, we are with Bola Tinubu now, who seems to be in charge of this same sector. As at yesterday, the NNPCL portal shut down and delays petrol supply. Marketers are crying that there seems to be a disconnection between the NNPCL and the marketers. And it seems the person who should have the power to dictate what's happening in the sector is still battling to take care of the nation at the center. Should we have a president who doubles as a Minister of Petroleum?
That's a good suggestion. But we have a problem. The commander-in-chief, if he doesn't understand the magnitude of the problem, he can't solve anything. That's what's going on. Even the Buhari you mentioned, Buhari didn't know what to do. It's accumulation of all the neglect that we are seeing now. And probably it's overwhelming for Tinubu, And you see, we keep talking about where did we go wrong? What should we do? The people who can solve Nigerian problem, they are not even near the hem of power. That's the truth, And he himself, when he got into power, the first what you heard was to buy SUV for the legislator, buy yacht, so many things. It's like he didn't understand the magnitude of the problem, And like Sanusi said, if you claim the rot you inherited is so large, why would you go and start buying SUV, buying yacht? Then you mean you don't have a problem. We are all praying for Nigeria. We are all praying for Nigeria, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I know when I work with Chief Enaoro, all these things were all addressed. We came up with a master plan. I believe Tinubu has a copy of them, of all what the suggestions we all were trying to announce for the nation. But now he's there. Maybe he's overwhelmed and he doesn't know what to do. You see, next year is going to be worse than this year. It's just going to keep going. We are on a slipping slope. Like my colleague said, our our youth, they are all trying to rush to Europe. Many they stop them at the Mediterranean Sea. I don't know if you saw the video where some European rascals. I mean, it's the same thing you will find. They will burst the balloon with which they want to flow through the Mediterranean Sea, and once you are stranded. The Mediterranean Sea is taking a lot of Nigerians, and that is if you survive the Sahara Desert journey, and then you get to Europe. I was in Vienna some years ago, and then some Edo youth, they thought I was a government official. They came and then they were pleading that they are all suffering. Yes, it's all over. We have a big problem. We have a big problem, but people, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe the legislators, we need to concentrate on the legislator and find out how we can get good legislators.
Okay.
Yes, you can impeach a legislator. Do you know that in America, if I want a legislator to leave office today, what I do, I come up with a petition, just circulate it around. Once you have that number, they will null his position, and then they start another fresh election.
Okay.
Assuming.
Okay. Dr. Boniface, from what Dr. Kenwa has said, what strategy can be implemented to have transparency in this sector? There seems to be some kind of shady deals in the oil and gas sector, and it seems to be our major problem. So what strategy can we put in place, especially those in power, to create some kind of free flow and transparency? Dr. Boniface.
Yeah, well, they know what to do, but it's like asking the person who's the thief, who can catch the thief. So those who should implement these things, they're not implementing them. There are certain parts of the world where you can't take a drop of oil. Go to the Middle East. If they use automation, it's not automated. But we know what to do in Nigeria. I'm just saying, so until we can get people to get them to change their values, I don't know how we got to this stage. We get them to change their values and begin to think Nigeria first. Then we'll have some challenges. So they know what to do, automate the thing, and remove human interference as much as possible. And so if you are producing crude, so you make sure that the crude you produce, nobody can take it. Nobody has access to it. And if you do so, there are consequences. And one of the reasons, like my colleague did say, one of the reasons that makes us to underperform this environment is that it's not that people elsewhere, they're not bad. People are bad everywhere. But elsewhere, if you do it, there will be consequences. And if they arrest you, you pay for it. But yeah, if they arrest you, it depends on where you are coming from and whom you are, which party you belong to. Oshimole will tell you, if you come to APC and if you committed any sin, it will be forgiven. I think it's from your state.
It's from Edo State.
Edo State.
It's an Edolite. Okay, Dr. Boniface. Let's quickly get the reaction of Dr. Kenwa Obaseki. You want to react to that, please?
Yes. But let me tell you, I worked with the biggest company in the world, at times I was in a position to make decisions whereby a product that is to go into those big vehicles and all the rest, these are multi-million dollars. And though there are certain companies, they will want to influence you so that you approve their product, because that's millions of dollars. You take a penny, you go to jail. You see, we are all aware of that. Why don't people become corrupt in the U.S.? Because they know they will go to jail. There is consequences. In Nigeria, you just do it. There's no consequences. That's what human beings fear. You see, human beings, we are the same everywhere. We are the same everywhere. If you can get away with it, people will try to violate. It's almost like the traffic too. Some people 60 miles per hour. Some people want to go at 80 miles per hour because they believe they can get away with it. You know, why some people, they are afraid that they might not get away with it. In Nigeria, you can get away with anything. That is our biggest problem. And the people I hold responsible are the legislators.
Okay. If we are holding the legislators accountable, Dr. Boniface, quickly help us.
Yeah.
What is the future and the outlook for gas development in Nigeria? What is the future of oil and gas sector in Nigeria? Does it have a future?
Well, we know. Yeah, well, we know what to do. We have an example. We have the LNG. You know, LNG. A few weeks ago, I was at a birthday party, 80th birthday party of Don Etebet. You know, it was during this time that they tried to reduce the shareholding of public sector in LNG. That's why LNG has survived. That's why LNG today has operated as a private sector enterprise and has been making profits to us. You know, so we know what to do. You know, so as much as possible, we try and privatize. But if we will not want to do privatization, then the problem you have in Nigeria, again, like I talked about before, that people are so selfish. They want to privatize, we try to privatize power, then they put their stooges to buy up the thing. Now, instead of doing the thing, doing it at arm's length, and they're bringing people who have expertise in the area, you create problems for us. So they need to want to do. So we know what to do. You know, so government has no business in business. Government should go and provide an enabling environment. That's what government should do. But you have interference everywhere. And people go there and everything they say, you know, honeypot, what am I going to get from it? What is that person going to get from it? Look at the ministers who are appointed. Why are we having crisis? And the president of most appointed ministers, they appointed those who contribute to this election. So it's like payback. So
Okay.
if you try to be gubernatorial governor and you don't get, you become a minister. What's all that? So you're not putting people based on their competence and their merits. We're not doing that.
So you think for Nigeria now is robbing Peter to pay Paul? That is the situation in Nigeria.
Well, in Nigeria, it's a criminal enterprise. That's what you have. You're not robbing. Everybody's robbing themselves. You know, those who are there, you know, are stealing. Those who are not stealing are waiting to go and steal.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Let's get to Dr. Obaseki. Now, in light of the current global economic challenges, how can Nigeria attract more foreign and local investments into this sector that seems to be the devil in the house?
Even industries are leaving Nigeria. You are expecting industry to come.
You don't believe in Nigeria again, Dr. Obaseki. You are one person who have always agitated for the growth of this country.
Yeah, but like the Bible will say, except the Lord build that city, the builder build in vain. You know, you have to start first. You know, let me take us back. Obasanjo also made the mistake when they decide to privatize all the industries. I don't go for just asking one company to come and buy the industry that Nigeria spends so many billions to build. You know, what I will do, yes, all the Nigerian refineries, we're going to sell them. We'll sell them, but not to one buyer. You set up corporation and ask people to buy shares in them. I will buy shares in them. Like, for example, now, I bought shares in Zenith, and I want to buy shares in other banks. And so are other people. So now you now have vested interest. Those who want that industry to grow or their money to grow. It's not just to one buyer, like the aluminum plant that they dispose of. I learned is for about $300 million. A aluminum plant that they build with so many billions. That's sort of corruption. You know, the same thing with the oil industry. If you fix the oil industry today and say issue close to 5 billion shares, say at 100 naira per share, and then you now have a lot of Nigeria own those shares, then they run that company as a private industry. Maybe the government will pull back, have like 2% shares in the company. You know, it will be devoid of corruption because if you don't perform, you are gone.
Okay.
You are gone.
Okay. Dr. Boniface, do you share the
Yes.
same view with him? Do you believe privatizing the oil and gas sector wholly will help us come out of this?
Yes, to a large extent, because you see what you have here, like I said earlier on, the problem you have is that when you try to privatize, they want to hijack it. So that's the problem, you know. So I don't know who's going to bear the cat, who's going to save us. You know, that's the problem. We have examples. Try to privatize NEPA. What did we get? The crisis you have in NEPA today is because with the people who are going to do the thing, you know, then saw an opportunity and they nominated people and they manipulated the system and sold it to themselves. And so they sold it to themselves, so the expertise you needed to run the thing was lacking. And the money you needed for them to bring in to run the thing, if you went and brought somebody selected carefully and did competitive bidding, and they won't be in this crisis. And you cause that across everywhere in this economy. You know, one is sick and tired of what's happening in this country.
Okay. Dr. Obaseki, this might be your closing reaction. For refineries with workers working and receiving salaries every month, and yet we are not producing from any of these refineries, and they are getting salaries, they are being paid, they are paid heavily. Some persons are of the opinion that the government should see how to make one of the refinery work, channel all these salaries into making the refineries start producing, and this will help support what Dangote already has on ground. Would that help us to make sense and chart a good way forward?
I agree with you. I agree with you. Fix the refineries, even that will complement what Dangote is already producing. And then you see, outside the world, we can always sell refined product to the rest of Africa and other nations that need the gasoline or PMS, what you call it. If you listen to Tom David West when he was the oil minister, Nigeria was refining petroleum product and selling finished product to other nations, meaning you get revenue. But now, not years later, is the reverse.
Okay, Dr. Obaseki, let's try and manage our time now. I have 20 seconds to leave the studio. But quickly, Dr. Boniface, with the increasing competition in the international oil market, where will you place Nigeria, your country?
Well, Nigeria is nowhere. You know, we've not done what we should do. We punch below our weights. You know, there's no OPEC nation that imports refined products. I don't know of any. You know, so we are not anywhere. We have the size. God has blessed us with the oil, but we've not been able to optimize it. So that's the reality which we are facing. Yes,
Okay.
So that's reality.
All right, we sincerely appreciate you, gentlemen. Dr. Boniface, thank you so much for coming on board. And we hope to have you subsequently on this platform.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, Dr. Kenwa Obaseki, thank you for always coming through. We appreciate you. Happy Independence in areas.
Go back and watch those videos I sent you. The Greek roadmap that I presented it to Ugbemudia. That was what Ugbemudia actually adopted when he liberated Midwest, or that we're starving to death. That's the first thing we need to do. The
If
country is
you wouldn't
starving
mind,
right
if you wouldn't mind, I would like us to have a special day. We'll just have you have some of these videos, walk our viewers through it, and we'll just have you as a guest. I think that will make sense. If you, what do you think?
I agree.
Definitely.
And even the solar car, we can also do that.
Okay.
Get some university experts to come so they can look at them.
Okay,
see
okay,
how
Dr.
they can
Obaseki.
establish one
Dr.
in
Obaseki,
Nigeria.
we'll find a way to bring you again so we can walk through all this. But this is how far we can go. We've actually exhausted our time. Thank you so much for being part of it. Do join us on the next one. My name is Daniel Praise. Ose Debame. Bye for now.